Hello and welcome to the first episode of Everyday Energy. My name's Kian Patel. I'm a holistic health and life coach, and this podcast is all about health and wellness with tips and tricks you can use to optimize your mental and physical well-being. Now, this podcast is not just about health and wellness. We're going to have relatable topics to do with social struggles. We're also going to have special guests coming on who are quite high up in their fields and very knowledgeable about health and wellness related topics. Now, I'm very excited to start this podcast. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and only recently one of my friends actually started her podcast and it got me inspired to do mine. So thank you, Effie. I will put your Instagram in the bio. Now, today's episode is all going to be about my experience on my silent meditation retreat. Now, it was 7 days long, and yes, that sounds pretty intense, but I'll go through it all later on in the video. Before I go into that, I just want to talk to you about my experience with meditation, why I started, how I started, and my journey. So I started meditating about 3 years ago. It was my last year in uni. I think it was 2022. And I wasn't depressed, but I would say my mental health wasn't 100%. I was flagging a bit mentally. Now, this was to do with like social media. This was when the war started with Russia and Ukraine, and I was like, oh my God, we're all going to die. I was on TikTok doom scrolling. I was like, okay, this is not good. So Toby Green, one of my best mates, he sent me a video saying, the video was titled on YouTube. It was like, why you should meditate. So I watched it. It was like 11 minutes long. And by the end of it, I was so convinced, and I brought it so much, I was like, okay, I'm going to be meditating every single day for the rest of my life. And since then, there's no looking back. I had about 3 or 4 panic attacks in 2022. And since I meditated, I am nowhere near a panic attack. So I'm just much more conscious, in control of my breath, a lot less anxious, a lot less stressed. And yeah, it's changed my life. I've started a business. I've learned how to be a barber. I'm at the peak of my physical and mental well-being. And yeah, I'm super healthy, super fit. That is how I started meditating, or why I started meditating. Now, going into the retreat, so I don't know why I booked this retreat. It was very random. I think I watched another YouTube video of someone recommending silent meditation retreats. So I thought, you know what, let me do it. So I Googled, found the best one, top rated one. I was like, okay, let's do it. So this retreat, it was in Berkshire. It was camping. There was some glamping available, but I thought, you know what, I'd have the full experience. I took my own tent, and yeah, it was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely loved it. I didn't know what to expect going in. I thought it was going to be a bit of a holiday, you know, do maybe an hour of meditation a day, do some yoga, have some fun, just chill out. I know you couldn't talk to people, but I thought there might be like some waving, some like smiling, some hugging, all of that. But no, I was completely wrong. When we got there was about 50 people that attended, and they laid out the instructions and the rules. And some of the rules were, there's no phones, so you hand your phone in. There was no eye contact, or minimal eye contact, which I thought I was going to struggle with a lot. And to be fair, I did a little bit. The eye contact thing was weird, because you're just like, you're not even human anymore. You're just walking around like a robot. And then some other rules were no journaling, no reading, no like excessive exercise. So no like push-ups, weightlifting, that, because apparently it could distract other people, which I thought fair enough. So and no eating after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That was a big one for me. So we had our first meal at 7:30, then our last meal at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. or 12 in the afternoon, whatever one it is. I thought I'd struggle with this, but to be honest, it wasn't that bad. Once you get in the routine, you get used to it. Now, I'm going to go through the daily schedule. It was pretty intense. You're going to be listening to this thinking, oh my God, look, I could not do that. But once you get used to it, it was actually all right. So to start with, we'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning. You'd get up, brush your teeth, do what you need to. Then the first meditation starts at 5 a.m. Then throughout the day, there's various meditation and yoga sessions. And in total, I counted, it was about 7 hours of meditation every single day. So it was intense, and there was a lot of sitting still, which is not like me at all, because I'm always on my feet. I'm very active, play a lot of footy, play a lot of tennis. So for me, this was quite mentally tough, just sitting still and like not doing anything for 7 hours a day. After the second day, it became quite easy and it was quite enjoyable because I was actually getting benefits from the meditation sessions. So 7 hours of meditation a day. Then you would do 1 hour of yoga in the morning. You'd eat your first meal at 7:30, your last meal at 12, and then at about 5 o'clock there was a sauna available to use, and there was like this area of the River Thames that you could swim in. It was cold water. It was beautiful. So the sauna and the cold water swimming actually helped a lot of people, and they said it at the end that it was nice to have like a bit of a treat. There was also massage therapists offering Reiki and Thai massages, and another one called Lumi Lumi Hawaiian massages. I've never had them before, but it was incredible. Like the lady was, it's like a wave massage, so she start at the top, go all the way down. Yeah, it was mad, and that helped a lot with the boredom of part of the day, because obviously you're not doing a lot. You're like just meditating and walking around. So that's the daily schedule. And although we were silent, it was quite nice because although you're not talking, there was like a togetherness, and everyone was like connected, and there was a group energy, so everyone was supporting each other, helping each other get through the day. So yeah, it was really nice. Two people I want to talk about specifically who I think they're like the owners of the company. They created the retreat. It was Dimitri, who was the meditation teacher. He was incredible. This guy was literally like the Buddha. Like he knew so much. He was so knowledgeable, and he had a sense of humor as well, which helps when he was giving the teachings because it break up the silence. And yeah, it was nice. And then there was Karen, who I think she organizes the event, but she was also the chef, and she made the most incredible food. It was vegan Ayurvedic food, and for those who don't know what Ayurvedic means, it's ancient like Hindu food that goes back from centuries, and it was the most incredible food. And yeah, that helped a lot of people get through as well. Actually, they talked about that. Now, when I first got there, I was a bit like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Before I left, my mum was like, Kian, if you want to leave on day 3, just come home. But I was so determined that I was going to carry on and do the whole thing. So I stayed in a positive mindset throughout, which helped a lot. So anytime I was slightly flagging, I was like, come on, this is for your personal development. You can get through this. And yeah, so I finished it, and I didn't have that many wobbles. I'll talk a little bit later on about one of the wobbles I had. But yeah, I want to also talk about waking up when the sun rises and going to sleep when the sun sets. It is the most beautiful thing ever, because you're in tune with your circadian rhythm, you're aligned with nature, and you just feel your best. Like some days I was waking up before the gong went off at 4:30. I was waking up at like 4:25. I was ready to get up and go and start meditating, which was it's quite a nice feeling. Now, my favourite part of the whole retreat was actually on the last day when everyone got around. This is when we broke the silence. We sat there and people came up one by one to the front, and they explained their experience, and they talked about like why they meditate, how they got into it. And this was so nice. It was very emotional because if you think about it, you haven't spoken for 7 days, and you're wondering like in your head, what are all these people thinking? Like, what are all their stories? And you build a picture of everyone. So when everyone sat down and told their stories, it was beautiful. Now, I didn't realize how much people were actually struggling, like for the people who were there. So a lot of people had like mental and physical problems that they faced. And yeah, it was really, really emotional actually. I did have one little tear going down my cheek, but I was like, I wasn't crying, but I was slightly emotional. And it was really powerful to see how much this retreat actually helped people, and how powerful meditation was for some of these people. Like, I'm not going to go into names, but one person said meditation literally saved their life. So yeah, it was really nice to hear. When it was my turn to go up to the front, I went up, I think second. I was like, all right, let me just get this out of the way. I went up, sat on a little cushion, and I literally I could barely speak. I was like stuttering. I'm not normally like that. I'm quite confident. Because you haven't spoken for 7 days, you almost forget how to speak. So I was like, yeah, my experience. I was like, it was nerve-wracking as well because you got 50 people watching you. Yeah, I told my experience, and I'm going to share with you what I shared with everyone else. So this was the wobble I had. On day 6 out of 7, I was doing the walking meditation. That was one of the other meditations you did. You're like basically lifting, walking, and it was to get you concentrated. So you'd be like, intention to lift, intention to move, intention to place, and you do that for about 45 minutes, and you'd get in the zone so that when you go and meditate and sit down, your thoughts aren't wandering and you're like present. Now, on day 6, I was doing the walking meditation, and I was like, okay, well, if the whole point of this thing is to lose our ego, which is what we were taught, and we're doing this for personal development, if we're trying to lose our ego, but we're not actually there, but we're trying to improve ourselves, what does that all mean? I was confused. I was like, well, if we're trying to improve ourselves, but there is no self, what's the point of all of this? So I had a little bit of a wobble, and I literally, like, my head was spinning. I couldn't stop thinking about that. But luckily, we were allowed to talk to the meditation teachers for about 5 minutes a day. So I went up to one of them. His name was called David. He was amazing. He helped me a lot. And he said to me, Kian, look, this guy is like a beast. He'd been meditating for like 10 years. He said to me, even he hasn't lost his ego. The idea is that, okay, eventually, yeah, losing your ego is good, but it's like a dimmer. You might not lose it all completely, but you can slowly lose your ego, and you can have qualities that you implement that isn't complete. That's not egotistical, but you lose it slowly. So that saved me, and I was like, okay, thank you. And then the wobble went. I was like, okay, back to meditating, and I was in the zone. So yeah, it's really nice that you could talk to the meditation teachers. It does help if you are struggling a little bit. And there are some people who on the retreat who have never meditated before. Yeah, and they got to the end of it and they were like, yeah, they loved it. There was one lady actually, she actually booked it because she thought it was a holiday. And when she got there, they're like, all right, you're going to be meditating for 7 hours a day, no talking, no phone. She said she nearly called an Uber like 5 times to go home, but she stuck through it. And at the end, she loved it as well. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I'm going to talk a little bit about some things that I learned on the retreat and that we got taught, and things that I've brought into my daily life that's helped me massively. Dimitri, the meditation teacher, this guy, like, he has been on like 21-day silent retreats. He's been on 30-day silent retreats. He's done it all. So he was the best person to be placed to teach us. And the title of the retreat was 7-Day Silent Vipassana Retreat. Vipassana is the style of meditation, and it basically means seeing things clearly. It's a Buddhist technique, or Buddha's technique, and it teaches you some main principles to try and become enlightened. Now, obviously, enlightenment is way far ahead, and I think you have to be meditating for years and years and years. But the idea is you might not be enlightened straight away, but again, there's a dimmer. So you start here, but you can slowly become more enlightened, and you can live a more positive, wholesome life. Now, the main things I learned from this, there's 3 main things that I learned. So number 1 is, and they're all like characters and characteristics you can take into your life. Number 1 was being equanimous in situations. So equanimity, being equanimous. This basically means that whenever you're in a situation where you might be struggling or something might be difficult, you always remain calm, balanced, and composed. Okay? So calm, balanced, and composed no matter what is going on. And that's really important, whether you've got an interview, whether you've got a stressful situation at work, your relationship is a bit wobbly. Being equanimous in situations can help you so much. Now, the next thing is being present. Basically, it just means living in the moment. Because if you are thinking about the past, or if you're worrying about the future, that's when normally anxiety starts to creep in, and you're not fully in the moment, and you're not living presently. Because if you're constantly worrying about other things, your head's not in the exact moment, and you're going to be distracted. So some ways to stay present is, if you're sitting down, for example, just like, what are your feet doing? Feeling your feet, listening, what can you hear? Touching, what can you touch? What are you feeling? What can you smell? Even when you're eating, you can eat more presently. So like slowly eating, being mindful, not taking massive bites, maybe not watching TV while you eat, just eating like with nothing and just like appreciating taking in the food. So that was another thing, being present. And then the last thing was impermanence. So impermanence basically means that everything has a beginning and everything has an end. So if you've got a problem, if there's a worry, say you're stressed about something that hasn't even happened, that thought always has a beginning and an end. So joy and pain will come and go. So by staying in the present moment, by being impermanent and being equanimous, there are 3 little tips you can use in your life to make your life a lot easier, a lot less stressful, and a lot more enjoyable. Now, so they're the 3 main characteristics I learned. Now, the main technique and principle of this Vipassana retreat was note, know, and let go. So note, know, and let go. I'm going to be explaining what that actually means and how you can use that in your life. So let's say you have a problem. Say someone's being rude to you. Yeah, so someone's calling you, like someone's bullying you. Someone's saying, "Oh, you're an idiot, you're fat, you're ugly, whatever." You can label that. So know it as comment. Yeah, someone's saying something. Label that as comment. Then you see it as a thing. You know it. What you do is you create space. So it's not you. It's an entity. And then when there's a little space, it's a lot easier to let it go. Okay, so someone's saying something, label it, comment. Know it as a thing, see it as an entity, and then let it go. And you can do that with everything. The stress, worries, financial struggle, see it as a thing, let it go. Yeah, and you can use this throughout your life. So in the meditations, this is what we were taught to do. While we're meditating, it was constantly like note, no, let go. Note, no, let go. Hearing, note, no, let go. Sitting, note, no, let go. Feeling, note, no, let go. And it's super powerful. Like that theory of not letting something get to you and letting it go is so powerful. So emotional resilience is a big thing that this helps with, that this type of meditation really works on. Because yes, okay, you're going to feel angry at some point. You're going to feel stressed. You're going to feel upset. The idea is that you want to control how long you let that emotion fester and like that is present. So yeah, you can be angry, but can you reduce that time you're angry? And the more and more you can reduce it, the less and less you're going to be stressed, and the less and less you're going to feel anxious and worried, and the more you can enjoy your life. Yeah, so that's some really big tips that I took away from the retreat. Now, the value of silence was also amazing. So I talk a lot. A lot of my friends, family know that I speak loads and loads. So going silent for 7 days, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And it was actually a lot easier, and it was a lot more beautiful than I thought it would be, because you're a lot more mindful about what you're going to say and what you're thinking. Like day to day, we wake up, we ramble, we talk, we say a lot of things. Now, what it taught me is that our words are very powerful, and that we should use them very carefully. And it's made me a lot more mindful about what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. Even our thoughts, although our thoughts aren't technically us, if we keep thinking the same thing every single day, we're not going to be able to change. There's a fact where it's like 90% of our thoughts today were the same as yesterday. So in order to change our life, we have to change our thoughts. So that's why being a lot more mindful about what we're thinking can help us grow and move a lot further in life. So that was a little lesson I learned about the silence. Now, a personal breakthrough for me, I'd probably say is that, yeah, okay, I haven't lost my ego, but I've definitely become a lot more aware of what I say and the time I spend my energy, or the way I spend my energy. So I'm learning a lot more to say no to things. So yeah, obviously I still have a social life. I still see my friends. I enjoy like going to the pub every now and then. I go play football, play tennis, see cousins, family, go on holidays. But actually, a lot of times I'm saying yes. I'm in that situation, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think I'd be happier if I was like at home, or just like chilling or reading, or just doing something a bit more productive. So there's a balance, isn't there? So that's what I've learned learn to say no to more things, and don't feel bad for doing it. Don't feel guilty. Do what you enjoy. At the end of the day, it's your life. So yeah, that was my experience on the meditation retreat. I met amazing people as well. So I met another holistic health coach who studied at the same school as me, and the first person I talked to basically was her. Her name's Effie, and we clicked instantly. Well, we got on so well. She's doing really well in the health coaching business, or she's done it for like I think over a year now, and it really inspired me to kick my ass in gear and start moving forward. So yeah, I'm definitely stay in touch with her. I met a few other people. Marco, really nice guy. He lives in Oxford, and he said he struggled a lot, and he said meditation has helped him so much. And actually, on day 6 out of 7, I really wanted to share my experience with someone, and I wanted to talk to people. And he said, well, we looked at each other, and like we spoke at the beginning on day 1, like loads, because on day 1 and 7 you can talk. So on day 6, we were looking at each other. We were like, "Oh, I really want to chat to you," because it was like near the end of the retreat. We were like, "Oh, come on!" And then I basically said to him, "Look, come on, like, there's only one day left. Let's just talk." And he was like, "Yeah, fine. Let's just do it." And then you could see we were chatting for about 5 minutes. You could see people all around us. They were like, "Oh my god, what are they doing? Like, why they should not be talking? Like, what are you doing?" But so then we stopped. We felt so guilty, and then we were like, "Oh my god, what have we done? Have we ruined it all?" But then, literally an hour later, that's when we did the sharing circle. Everyone sat down and got up and talked to each other. So yeah, it was fine. It wasn't that deep, but that was the only time I kind of broke the rules. But yeah, that was my experience. If you do want to learn more about Vipassana meditation and the retreat, or any other questions about meditation, give me a message on Instagram. I'm going to put my link in the comment section. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like it, and follow me on Spotify if you want to hear more videos like this. And I've got a lot more exciting content to come. I've got a video coming up soon with a meditation expert going into all the misconceptions, common queries, and yeah, really real deep dive into that. And yeah, I've got a lot of exciting guests coming up, so stay tuned. And yeah, that was my first episode. See you soon.